I want to create a community for people because when everything happened last year, I came to realize that there really isn't a lot of community support and peer support when it comes to any sort of illness, really, but when it comes to having an autoimmune disorder, especially MS.
Just letting you know, when you know, you know.
Hello and welcome to Coffee Connections podcast. My name is Cindy Chase and I'm so glad that you're here with us today. This week our guest is a very inspirational lady. She used to own a thriving $1 million floral business here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And she was going great guns and winning awards and being sent to New York for special training under some, highfalutin florists. And lo and behold, she found out that she had multiple sclerosis. And so that changed everything. I'm going to let Mary share how that all came down, and I hope you enjoy her story. If you can relate, if you're dealing with some health issues, or if somebody in your family has been diagnosed with a health issue and you need somebody to talk to, you need a support group, or you just want to, share what's on your heart and find out how other people overcome these challenging times, reach out to Mary. I'll have her contact information at the end of the video and in the description below this video. Whether you're a family member of somebody that's been diagnosed with an illness, or you yourself are the lucky one. So just know that you're not alone, okay? I have a very special guest with me today. We've been waiting to get together for a couple months now, I think. And let me introduce you to the fabulous Mary Tibbetts. Mary, hello, thank you.
Hi, Cindy. Thank you so much for having me on today.
We haven't actually met in person yet, but I've read about you. I've looked at your website. You're such an inspiring lady. First question I have is, what made you change the direction of your life's mission? Would you say that is true right now?
Yeah, I would say that is true. So I'll give everybody a little bit of my background. So great. I am on, I would say, it's my fourth career, I guess, which I am very excited to be stepping into. I had gone to school. I was a medical lab assistant. I worked in microbiology. Then I switched over and I did accounting and bookkeeping I still have bookkeeping clients that I help out here and there. Nice. So I'd say probably 18 or 19 years doing that. And then I actually owned a flower shop here on the north end of Edmonton. I opened it in, 2018. And then I sold it last July. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis last year. And then when everything kind of hit, I realized that I needed to take a step back from the stressful life that I had been living, very stressful, not really 100% aligned with what I wanted to do as a whole, but don't get me wrong, I loved my shop very, very much. I actually I have a studio that I still do weddings and corporate events out of. Oh, wow. And then I actually and I have a podcast as well. It's called Fearless with Mary. And I actually stepped into coaching. So initially I had started doing business coaching, and which I love. I do have a few business coaching clients that I do help. But then with everything going on with my health and trying to align my life with how I want to live and what I want to share with other people and be an advocate for people that have multiple sclerosis. I took my holistic wellness coaching program. So I'm stepping into that role, and there is a group of us that are actually looking at opening up a nonprofit for community for people with multiple sclerosis, because we have the medical end of it. We have great associations that do fundraising to help try and find a cure and everything like that. We have other ones that are definitely more holistic based, and I want to create a community for people, because when everything happened last year, I came to realize that there really isn't a lot of community support and peer support when it comes to any sort of illness, really, but when it comes to having an autoimmune disorder, especially MS. So we are working on doing a nonprofit as we speak. I was doing paperwork before we came on, Cindy.
Oh. So, Mary, when you say a holistic approach, what does that mean, a holistic approach?
So there is a foundation out of, I don't know if they're a foundation, but they are out of Calgary.
Right.
Lovely, lovely society. I actually follow the diet that they do. But they are still putting a whole bunch of money into research to try and find a cure for MS, which I'm very grateful for. Right. They focus more on diet and everything, diet, exercise, spirituality, which I am 100% aligned with.
Right.
But most of their funding goes into trying to find a cure, which I am, like I said, very grateful for. But right. We need something built for in between the doctor's appointments and the MRIs and to see where we're at. So I want to build the group of us. We want to build where you go and you sit with other people that have MS, and we can actually have information sessions and peer groups for family members of people that have MS, because it really is actually a family disease.
Right.
It affects everybody.
Right. What are the signs of it? Like, if anybody's watching, and what was the first clue that you had that there was an issue with your health? Tiredness or anything?
Oh my goodness, you know what, Cindy, it's so crazy. And if you ask anybody that has MS, everybody has a very different story.
Really?
I owned the flower shop, and I would say probably at the top of my game. I won a scholarship to go and train with a world-renowned florist in New Jersey last year.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. We went because we did New York for the weekend, went to New Jersey. And I'd say probably for about 18 months prior to that, I was just so exhausted, so fatigued. But you know, you own a business, you have kids, you have a house, you have a husband, you have a dog, you have cats. You know, you have to keep going. I just thought I was tired from the shop. Yep. And then, so we went to New York in the beginning of March, end of February, beginning of March we went. No, middle of March, sorry, pardon me. And I'd say about 6 weeks leading up to that. Okay, so I was a smoker. I am no longer a smoker, obviously. About 6 weeks leading up to that, anytime that I would go to have a cigarette, my arm, it was very strange. It would go all the way out and then back in. Or even if I wasn't doing that, even if I wasn't having a cigarette, anytime I would go to lift, it was actually on my right side, I'd go to lift my right arm, but it would take the really long way around to come back to me.
Wow.
And it was and I, ignored it, because why wouldn't you? Because that's not strange at all. Whatever.
I'm Superwoman.
Yeah, right. And so we went to New York, came home, and then April 17th hit. So my son on the Monday had his wisdom teeth out. And, it's April. During the day, it's cold outside. And then at night, it's so hot. Like, you can't win. You don't know. So we had the heat on. Mm-hmm. And it was rainy, kind of like today. Yep. And everybody had gone to bed. My husband and I don't sleep in the same room because he snores. It's a thing.
And there you go.
Yeah, right. So he was in his room. Our son was on the couch, higher than a kite from getting his wisdom teeth pulled. Yep. And I came downstairs. I was so hot. And I'm 45. Well, At the time I was 44. I didn't know. I thought that I was just going through menopause. Yeah. And I came down the stairs and I turned the heat down and I went to go back up the stairs. And the whole right side of my body, I had a seizure. Oh. But, don't go to the hospital. Instead, go upstairs and text your husband and say, I think I had a seizure. So when you get up in the morning, can you wake me? And I think maybe we should call the doctor and see about going in to see her. Well, I woke up at 5:30 in the morning to him standing over top of me saying, get up, we're going to the hospital.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And then it just kind of snowballed from there. I was very lucky because I actually had seizures while I was in the hospital. I know people are like, what do you mean lucky? Because if they wouldn't have seen me have the seizures, they wouldn't have known what tests to do.
You're right. Exactly.
Right. So exactly. I was very lucky. I had 2 more while I was in the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, a couple weeks went on. I lost function in my legs for a little bit. I couldn't move my arm. And then, it's Mother's Day and it's the most important day of the year at a flower shop.
Oh my.
So I was sitting at the table at the shop on Mother's Day. We were so tired and it was the end of the day and my husband had come. My legs had stopped working at about 10 a.m. that morning. And we got home and I looked at him and I said, well, I'm selling the shop. This was my last Mother's Day. I'm done. And he said, okay. So up for sale it went. It was sold by July 31st, which I'm very grateful for. And then Now I get to start this new journey, which I'm very grateful and blessed that I'm able to do that.
Blessing in disguise, isn't it?
It really is. It's crazy. I've talked to so many MS warriors that because my podcast is about MS and other medical stuff, but mostly MS. And not all of them, but I would say probably 80% of the people that I've met, obviously not the same story, not the same how, but a lot of it came down to, being that super person, thinking that if you work harder, you'll get further. And that actually isn't even remotely true in life. But these are things that we've learned over the years through society and family. And, I don't fault my parents. That's how they were raised. That's how they raised us.
Right.
But that is not how life actually has to be for anybody anymore.
Right.
You need to take care of you.
Right. And often we don't know what our true calling is until we've gone through the tough times and found our strength and realized that this is something that I can share and help other people through it.
Yeah, it's very interesting because my husband and I, we were just talking about this the other day. So I would say, probably for 10 years, I had said to him, I would really like to be a part of a nonprofit. I really want to be part of a nonprofit. Wow. So then it's been in the works for a bit now. And I said to him, I'm like, I think we should do a nonprofit because I really think that a lot of people would benefit from the community support. Mm-hmm. So, and I've talked to hundreds of people and I have not had one person poo-poo on it, Cindy.
So when you were had that in your in your horizon, did you know what type of nonprofit, like who you wanted to focus on?
No, I didn't know. I was like, I just want to help.
Right.
I just want to help.
Right.
And it's interesting because I like helping. I like spreading happiness, spreading cheer. Obviously, I owned a flower shop. That's why most people do it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So if I can be helpful in any way to even one person that gets diagnosed with multiple sclerosis or anything, that my job is done. 100%.
Right. And it's about community as well, right? Like this nonprofit where you can be a support, and maybe you won't have all the answers to the questions, but you can be there to listen to other people as they share their trials and tribulations, right?
100%. And MS is very different for everybody. Everybody's story is very different. Your symptoms are different. Everything is different, right down to what you put into your body, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. I know for me, I have to eat an anti-inflammatory diet, because if I don't, I'm a hot mess express. Like, I'm not able to function at a high capacity.
So what can you give us an example of anti-inflammatory diet? Like do you eat meat type thing, or what?
Oh yeah, I do eat meat. So I do follow loosely. There's two that I follow. One is the MS Hope. It's the Best Bet diet, the one out of Calgary. It's delicious, by the way. Everybody should eat it. I should have just been eating it my whole life. It's so good. And then I also loosely follow the Walls protocol. They both are made for people that have multiple sclerosis. But just really, it's no processed food, no dairy, minimal sugar to no sugar, no gluten. It sounds super hard. It really isn't. It actually isn't.
No,
it isn't. And it's funny because as you get older, you get rid of that stuff anyway, just because it doesn't sit with you like it should.
Exactly.
Some people can do the cow's milk. I can't do it on any level.
Yeah, I'm not a milk drinker. I never, when we were growing up, we had powdered milk, so it was like, I'll skip the milk, thanks.
I won't lie, Cindy, I would love a glass of chocolate milk at one point, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Mary, what do you enjoy doing in your life outside of work that empowers you, that refreshes you, that gives you the motivation to power on?
So last year, I always say when everything went down, it sounds like it was a bank robbery, but it wasn't. It was just, I had actually signed up for the Edmonton Marathon last year to run my first half marathon, because I said I always wanted to run one. By the time I was 45, I was 44.
Oh, wow.
Had the seizure on Monday, ended up in the hospital.
Wow.
So this year I registered. Right now I'm training for the half marathon for here in Edmonton, which I'm very excited about.
Wow, good for you.
And community, right? Like, just surround yourself with like-minded people, the people that get you, the people that bring you joy. I'm very lucky. I have a great support system. I have a wonderful husband. I have my boys, which my youngest one is moving to Vancouver, but I have my boys and I have, my fur babies. So just surround yourself with the type of people that you want to be, really, at the end of the day.
That's right. Nice. I have a couple of questions here that I wanted to ask. What's one thing you wished you had known before you started your business?
My goodness, which business? All of them. You don't have to do everything all by yourself. You can actually hand stuff off to people.
Okay.
You can find your who's.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if somebody is starting out and they can't afford to hire like an assistant? What would you suggest then to hand off work?
There's a lot of great resources.
Mm-hmm.
I know for me, so I'm sure I could learn how to figure out how to do the SEOs and all of that stuff that I have no idea what anybody's saying to me when they talk like that. I'm like, I have no idea what they're saying. You can actually go on, there's different platforms that you can go on, but Fiverr is a great one. It's very inexpensive.
Mm-hmm.
I think so for my podcast, I just did this a couple of weeks ago, actually, because I was up to a whole bunch of episodes and I'm like, okay, there's no way that I'm only getting like 3 views on this. It's ridiculous.
Right.
So I went on to Fiverr, actually, and I found a lady and she's amazing. She charges me $15 an episode, goes in, fixes everything. And it's made a huge difference. I went from, I think I had 33 subscribers, and I've gone up to almost 200 in 5 days.
Wow.
Yeah, they're very helpful. Very helpful for something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Nice. What has surprised you most about being an entrepreneur?
I've been an entrepreneur for so long.
You're not surprised anymore?
You know, it's not that I'm not surprised, just nothing shocks me. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'll get surprised and I'm like, well, that doesn't really shock me. I will say that the women's networking events are surprisingly helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I was never really a huge networking person.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm getting more into it, and it's amazing the people that you will meet. Some people I didn't even know that these jobs existed.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that was a job. But yeah, it's very interesting, the people that you meet. So I would say that was very surprising to me.
Nice. Are you talking about the Womanition ones, or what lady?
I've never been to one of those. But yes, it's crazy the people that you meet.
I went to that ladies' luncheon, and I also went to Womanition, the Biz Brigade, last month. I'm going to go every month because I find being in that atmosphere with women who are supportive. You'd think that women were catty and wanted to rip you apart. They don't. They want to help you succeed, and they're willing to share their expertise, their experience, and that, I agree, that is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it's very, and it was nice. I went to, so Carrie, the lady who introduced us, I've known Carrie for a while. She actually did some work for me when I owned the shop. She's like, just come. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Then finally somebody else had said, you need to go and check it out. And I went, and it was great. I'm going to try and book it in every month, because I still do, like, now I'm heading into summer, where I still have my bread and butter, where I have weddings that I have to make beautiful, which is, I enjoy.
How do you stay motivated on tough days?
Well, it's a little bit different when you have MS, because on the really tough days, I'm not gonna lie, I don't. I don't. But I'm very kind to myself, which everybody should be.
Yes.
I'm allowed to have a non-motivated day or a hard day, but that I'm allowed to have one. I don't get to extend it for weeks on end. So if I need to take that day of rest or that hour of rest or a weekend, then yes. But then, okay, you need to stick to what you're doing. I strongly suggest everybody does journaling 100%, either in the morning before you go to bed, and just write down everything you're grateful for, because it makes it a lot easier the next day when you're having a hard day to look back and go, you know what? Yep, I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And listen to your body, right? Listen.
100%.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I allow myself naps.
I wish I could nap. I'm so jealous. I'm not a napper.
Oh,
I
no?
wish I could. No.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a nap for about half hour before our meeting today, so.
Oh, yeah. I wish I could.
Yeah.
So, Mary, can you share a little bit about the type of services that you provide now and who you provide them for, and how can they get a hold of you if they want to learn more?
Absolutely. So I do holistic wellness coaching, and I also do public speaking. And I will be, once we get everything launched for the nonprofit, you guys will probably see me out there a lot more.
Nice.
But you can find me on Instagram under Fearless with Mary. You can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn under Fearless with Mary, and YouTube. And then I also have a website. It is www.fearlesswithmarytibbetts.ca.
Well, thank you very much, Mary. I'll let you know when this is live and uploaded to YouTube. So I'm going to let you go. It's pretty much the end. Have a great day. See you next week. Bye.